Start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. As the brother mentioned, inshallah, we will talk about Zakah. I will try to make it a short talk. Inshallah, hopefully half an hour, inshallah, we will try to cover topics, some of the issues of Zakah. And we won't be able to cover everything. That's why we give you, inshallah, a chance to ask if you have any question that is not mentioned or sorted in the lecture. So basically, Zakah is wajiba, is compulsory. We're talking about the Zakah that is mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the Quran as a sadaqah. إنما الصدقات للفقراء. He didn't say Zakah. He mentioned Zakah in other verses, but when he talked about the Zakah and the category of Zakah, he said إنما الصدقات للفقراء. So Sadaqah is Zakah and Zakah is Sadaqah in the Quran. It's two types, actually two types. One is compulsory, one is preferable. And the compulsory one is two types. One is connected to the person himself, regardless of what money he has, which is Zakatul Fitr. Zakatul Fitr should be given by every individual as long as he can afford it. But it has nothing to do with the money. But the second type, which we are going to talk about today, is Zakat al-Amwal, the Zakah in wealth. So this is what we are going to cover, inshallah, today. Who should give the Zakah? Basically, it's the Muslim, because the non-Muslim, even if he gives it, it will not be accepted from him. And the person who is baligh, reached the age of puberty, and aqil, whose name is not insane, and hur, is not slave. So slave, we don't need to talk about this because there's no slaves now. But Muslim, as you mentioned, kafir is not, zakah is not acceptable from him. What about munafiq, hypocrite? He has to give the zakah because hypocrite people, we deal with them apparently as a Muslim. But between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's something that Allah will judge them in the day of judgment. The baligh, the one who reached the age of puberty. So what about the child? If an orphan that his father passed away and he left him millions, do we need to give zakah? And the same again with the insane as well. If someone, for example, becomes very old, went in dementia, he has wealth, it's his money. It's still his money because he's alive. So do we need to give zakah? There are different opinions, and the correct opinion that we have to give the zakah because the zakah is connected to the wealth itself, not to the person. Not like zakatul fitr, as I said, it's connected, it's with the person, not with the wealth. So we have to give the zakah and their money, and that's why we have to pay for their expenses. We have to do everything that has to be taken from their wealth. Conditions of zakah. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً. Take from their wealth. So what do you understand from this? No. خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. What does it mean? Take from their money. What does it mean? Or what do you understand from this? No, the ownership, yeah, the ownership. You have to have ownership, full ownership on the wealth to give the zakah. So if your father is millionaire, do you have to give zakah? No, because it's not your money. Although he looks after you, but it's not your money. If your wife is millionaire, do you have to give the zakah? It's not your problem. It's her money. So the person should give zakah, the one who has full ownership on the wealth. And this is the first condition. Now, when we say full ownership, it means that if the money is not owned by someone, like examples, I want you to keep awake because I can see some of you already start preparing themselves to sleep. So I'm asking you, try to keep you, inshallah, connected with me. So, just answer.
Okay, like
companies or shares? No, companies is companies. I mean, companies is owned by some people. Huh?
Okay, like you give me money, so I can't take the account.
No.
Slave.
No.
Wealth of a masjid.
Exactly. Waqf, for example. Waqf is not owned by anyone. So the money in this masjid, there is no zakah on it. Even if you have millions in the account of the masjid, you don't pay zakah because it's not owned by anyone. It's waqf. And also the money of the government. When the money is money in the government, in the Ministry of Finance, it is not zakatable because it's not owned by anybody. It's for the whole of the people. Also the haram money, bribe, riba, stolen money, there is no zakah on this. Why? Because it's not owned. Islamically, if you steal some money, it's not your money Islamically. You have to give it back. So we can't tell you give zakah, we tell you give the money back. And if you take interest, riba, we don't tell you to give zakah, we tell you to get rid of it. It's haram money. It is not recognized Islamically to have an ownership on haram money. Also in this point, I'm trying to make it quickly so we try to finish as much as we can. Zakatul dayn, the debt. I mean, do you have to give zakah? This issue is a big issue. And there are many opinions. And the scholars, there is no hadith, by the way, regarding zakatul dayn, to give zakah on debt. There is no hadith that talks directly about this. It's just ijtihad and opinions of the companions. And even the companions did not agree upon something. I'm going to give you a very easy fatwa to make life easy for everybody. So we have the debtor, the one who lend the money, and the one who takes the money. The debtor, and what do you call the other one? The lender. Okay, the creditor. The debtor, does he have to give zakah? If the zakah, zakah on the debt, if he takes the money after the hawl, let's say for example, you give your zakah first of Ramadan, okay? Second of Ramadan, you take 100,000 as a loan. There is no doubt, there is no zakah on this one because you already given your zakah yesterday. So you have to wait until first Ramadan next year. So this is agreed upon. Now, Ramadan next year, you still have this 100,000. Do you need to give zakah on this? As I said, there are different opinions, but the correct opinions, there is no zakah on this. So let's say you have 1 million. 100,000 is a loan. Okay? 100,000 is a loan. When you give your zakah, you take out the 100,000 and you give zakah on the 900. Except if you own something that is not zakatable, look at this, it's not zakatable, and it is 100,000 value, it's 100,000 or more. So, let's say you have two houses, one for your own use, and the other one, you just bought it and kept it. It's not for business, you're just keeping it for your child or for any reason. And this house value is 100,000. In this situation, this loan, you have to pay zakah for it. Why? Because you have an amount that can be paid towards this. Did you understand it? I don't think so. I will ask you anyway later on. Because you need to read it more than one time to understand. So let's say you have 500,000. 50,000 is a loan. Do you have to pay zakah for the whole amount or for just 450? Except?
Unless you have that money elsewhere.
Not money, a non-zakatable money. Make sure you understand this. It's not zakatable money. Because you have already 150,000 with in your account. Non-zakatable money. Why? Because, why we say deduct this 50,000? Because this 50,000 is money for someone else. So he will pay zakah for it, as we are going to mention now. When you are going to pay zakah for it, if you have something that can cover this amount from your own money that is not, you don't use. So in this situation, we tell you, forget about the 50,000 because you have already 50,000 that can cover it. So you have to pay zakat for this because this amount is enough to cover this debt. And about the creditor, it's as simple as this. If you lend someone money, let's say you lend them 20,000 pounds, and if the person is ready to pay you back, and he's wealthy enough to pay you back, then you have to give zakah every year. Every year until you get your money back. But if you give the money to someone who cannot pay you back because he's in difficulty in facing financial difficulties, or he's a dodgy guy, he doesn't want to pay you back, in this situation there is no zakah on it, except if you take it, when he gives it to you, then you give zakah for 1 year, that's it. Why you don't pay zakah for this one? Why? Huh? Yeah, but why? Because the ownership is conditioned. And the ownership now is not stable. There is no guarantee you can have your money back. Because if the ownership is not stable, we said there is no zakah. Anyway, there are some issues in this madhab. I don't want to go in details. For example, Malikis has very strong explanation for the zakah of debt. But if I tell you the details, I think you will leave the dars. So leave it, inshallah. And anyone wants to know more about zakat ad-dain, I will explain to him after the dars. Now, another condition of the zakah, the money should be a growing money. An-nama. What does it mean? Yes.
Let's go back just a bit about when you said if you got the 50,000 that you borrowed, and if you have an asset which is non-zakatable,
Exactly.
such as is that only a second property, not the one that you live in?
Exactly. Not the one that you use. Something that is not used by you and is not zakatable. A second car, a second house, not a second wife. Yeah. So something that you don't use.
Okay.
And it's not zakatable.
But if you make use of the second car, then it doesn't.
That's fine. Still the same. Still the same, actually. Yeah. But just giving you example. Why? Because if you have two cars and you use both, for example, let's say one for you, one for your wife, no, this is not counted. Talking about something that you have, you don't use, but at the same time is not zakatable. Why we say this? Because we tell you this amount, this car or this house or whatever, this wealth can cover that debt. So in this situation, you have enough money to pay your debt back, so you have to give zakah on it. But if you don't have anything to cover this debt, we say you don't pay for it because it's in reality is not your money. Someone else lend you this money and he can take it. So the money said is growing. When we say it's growing, it's something that you use for business. You can make money out of it. So in this situation, let's say you have, Sulaiman, you have 50,000 and you don't want your wife to know about them. You hide them somewhere. Then you forget. Is this zakatable? Zakatable? Sure? No. Where is it? How do you pay zakah for something you don't know whether you get it or not? And it's not growing. You put that money and you don't have access to it. You forgot the place. You don't know where is the money. Did you understand that? You lost the money, yeah. You hide it somewhere, but you completely forget about the place. You don't find it. You don't have any access. There is no zakah on it. Same like when you lend someone money and he won't pay you back. So there is no zakah on this. There is no zakah on this. Also, another condition is to reach the threshold, the nisab. Nisab, we'll talk about it in details, inshallah, because not every money should be zakatable. And hawalan al-hawl, it has to be, you have to pay zakah after one Islamic calendar year, 12 months. So what's the difference by counting with the Islamic calendar and they call Georgian calendar? Yeah. So what's the difference?
14 days.
No. What's the difference in terms of giving the zakah?
No, the date will change.
The date will change, yeah. So what to do? Now, there's about 10 days difference, 10 to 14 days difference. So which means if you keep giving your zakah out, not according to the Islamic calendar, after 35 years, you will miss 1 year. So what to do if you, for example, you work in a company or somewhere and some banks cannot follow the Islamic calendar. They have to follow the Gregorian calendar, and they give the zakah. So what they need to do, instead of 2.5, they do 2.577. So this will give the exact amount that you have to give zakah for zakah. Okay, so what type of wealth you have to give zakah? First of all is the gold and silver. And these are the main wealth, the main money. Gold came to us from Rome. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to have golden dinar, which came from Rome. When the Prophet ﷺ was sent, at that time in Quraysh, people used to deal with silver and gold. That was the money there at that time. That was the money. They didn't have notes. They didn't have the notes we have now. The gold was from Rome, and the silver from Persian, from Fars. And the dinar is gold, and the dirham is silver. So this is what they used to have. And that's when the Prophet ﷺ gave the threshold of the zakah. He gave it according to the gold and silver. 20 mithqal of gold and 20 mithqal of gold and 200 dirham of silver, which is 85 grams of gold and 595 grams of silver. These are the zakatable money and wealth. Now, if you have this amount, if you have 85 grams for the whole year, or 595 grams of silver for the whole year, you have to pay zakah. What about the money? Pounds, do you have to pay zakah? How do you count it? Huh? No. How do you know that you have the zakatable amount? Huh? Gold or silver or both? How it doesn't work both. The common opinion is gold, but the correct opinion, what is good for the poor people. So if the threshold of gold is lower than the silver, we go for this one. And the other way around as well. So, but usually the silver is lower than the gold anyway. But if it's like this, so let's say you have the 85. How much does anyone know how much 85 gram is the value of 85 gram today? Roughly. Let's say 4,000. Okay, let's say 4,000. And the silver, 595 grams. Let's say it's 3,000. In this one, you have 3,500. Do you have to pay zakah? We have different opinions. Yes or no? Yes or no? So when you say yes, you rely on what? On the silver's threshold, nisab, not in the gold. Why you rely on silver? Because it's good for the poor people. So that's how you do it. If it's the other way around, the gold nisab is 3,000 and the silver 4,000, then you go for the gold. So this is how you do it. Why we say this? Because the notes mean nothing. The pounds, the notes mean nothing. In reality, they are taking the position of the gold and silver. That's why we are trying to make it this way. What about used gold? The gold that ladies use. Is it zakatable or not? Now, before we go in details, there are 3 conditions for this. Many people do not understand. You have to meet these 3 conditions to give the to move to the next step about different opinions. Before that, there is the zakah. It's a must, because there are different opinions. Majority said there is no zakah on used gold, and some scholar they say it's zakatable. And to be honest with you, it's a very complicated issue. And I always when I ask about this, I say if you want to be in safe side, just give zakah. But to be honest with you, it is the hadith. Many of the hadith are not clear to say it's wajib. But to be in safe side, and this fatwa of Shaykh Shanqiti rahimahullah and Al-Khattabi, they said to be in safe side, give zakah. But before that, first of all, when we talk about the used gold and silver, we don't mean the jewelry. We're not talking about diamond and other, because there is no zakah in this. So if you buy diamond to your wife, there is no zakah in this. Don't do it to run away from zakah. I'm just telling you, there is no subhanallah zakah on diamond, on other jewelry, just gold and silver. Second one, it should be halal, mubah. Otherwise, it will be zakatable. So what is haram gold?
You don't need.
Before it's stone, huh?
You don't need.
No. Exactly. If a man is wearing gold, it's haram for him, isn't it? We can't tell him, no, there is no zakah. He has to pay zakah. Because the used gold, we say, used in halal way, not in haram way. And the third one, it should be gold that is used personally, not for lending it and renting this gold, or use it for business. Then they have to pay zakah for it. But using the gold, this is one of the issues that that scholar accepted or make it an exception, and they said majority said there is no zakah, and to be in safe side, you give zakah on it. Now, yes, you can ask, yeah.
So in terms of what's the reason of the usability? You have to use it on a daily basis, or
No, as long as there's no one use it on daily basis, especially when it is a good amount of gold. But you know, it depends on the tradition of the people. In some countries, women, they buy a lot of golds and they wear it in weddings and these events. But they usually keep it in the safe, maybe sometimes 6 months they don't use it. But it's used. The purpose for it is for usage, not for renting it or business, something like this. So the intention will control this.
What about gold in electronics?
Sorry?
Gold in electronics.
Like?
Like in electronics, they use gold because it's a good conductor.
Uh,
Like completely,
which type of electronics? Watches? Ah,
like circuit boards.
they use the gold? Wallahi. But is it? But how do you? I mean, how do you own it?
They melt it down and stuff like that and put it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how do you expect to own this?
Would be like in your technology. So that would be like
Like in mobile, for example, or things like this?
yeah.
Subhanallah. And what else?
Anything like to do with electronics.
Huh? Laptops. So this has gold now. Well, first time I hear this. Anyway, I don't think it will be what you call 85 grams. That's number one. Secondly, it's used anyway. It's used, but now the using the gold in halal way, it's not zakatable according to a majority. Even if it's used by man, because man can have a golden tooth for treatment purpose. So if it's halal way using it, then it's not zakatable. But this is the first time I hear this. So, okay, what about business? Now, this is the common thing. Business. Do you have to give zakah in business?
yes.
Number one, the zakah on business when you receive the money with the intention of business. Okay? If you receive the money without the intention of business, it's not zakatable. Unless if you start doing it using the business. So I give you an example. Okay? You have a plan to set up, let's say, business buying and selling cars, and you're just looking for fund, 500,000 pounds for fund. Okay? So you come to me and you ask me to give you this money. I give you this money. From the time you take this money, your intention is business. So you start counting from that time. Zakah, next year, this time you have to pay your zakah. Okay? Because you took it as what? As a business. Okay. Before you come to me, or your brother wants to do the same, he didn't take from me, but his grandfather passed away and I left him 500,000. It's inheritance. Now, did he take it with the intention of business? No, he has to take it. It was given to him. So in this case, when we start count, when he start buying already, so if he keep the money in his account 10 months, there is no zakah. There is no zakah because he hasn't taken it with the intention of business. This is very complicated, very precise point. So when you take the money, you have to take it for a business. We'll talk about how you get the money and how do you consider this zakatable or not. But now, if you have a money for business, if you started the business, khalas, then from that time there is no doubt it is you have to start counting. Before that, if you kept the money in your account and you're still shopping around, you want to find the cars, etc. In this time, if you took it with the intention of zakah of a business, you already started your zakah year. But if you receive it without intention, like as an inheritance, you don't start until you're already involved in the business.
If you took that money as a loan anyway for business,
Khalas, intention is business. You start from the time you get the money.
why isn't the lender then paying it? Because he's expecting his money back.
Sorry?
The lender, the one who gives the money, why would he not pay zakah? Because he will expect it back after some time. If he's loaned it to you.
We mentioned now, we talked about the zakat al-dayn. We mentioned something like this.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes.
So You answer. Why he doesn't, do I have to pay this? I have to pay zakah on this if it's lend the money in one case, which is if I have a zakatable thing that is not for business. You remember? Forget about lending. Maybe it's confusing you. Someone not lending you, you receive the money. You need example. Someone give you as a gift. Okay. Another one you inherit. All these monies you don't take. I mean, when you receive them, when you receive like for inheritance, you don't have option to say no or yes. You have to have it. So your attention, it doesn't make any difference until you start already using that money. But in the case when you go and get the money for any reason, let's say you take it from your father or something like this, then the intention is for business. From the time you start, it's a business. Now this point will affect a lot of issues. That's why I'm trying to focus on this. Now I will get, now for example, I tell you something. Now look at the intention, how it does affect in some madhab like Maliki. In Maliki madhab, the businessman, they have two type of business. One they call them al-mudir and the other one is al-muhtakir. What is the difference? One is like have grocery, buy and sell every day. Okay? The other one, this is al-mudir. Al-muhtakir, he will buy a land and he will keep it 2-3 years waiting for the price to go up. Most of the madhab, they say they are the same. Maliki say no, they are not the same. Why? Because this man is buying and selling every day. This man, his intention to keep it for few years or for a time until he sells it. So they say this man is similar to someone who has taken a loan. So he's keeping it now and he has to pay zakah when he sell it. So Maliki say, let's say you have a land. You have a land for sale. You bought a land for sale. Okay? And this land, you kept it for 2-3 years. Do you have to pay zakah every year? Majority say yes. Maliki say no. Maliki say you have to pay zakah when you sell it for 1 year. You see the difference? Okay. You bought a land. Now this is will clarify to you. Alhamdulillah, you asked me. You bought a land, you want to build a house. Is this land zakatable? Why? It is not business. You change your mind after 1 year and you put it for sale. Is it zakatable? Why? Intention is business. Exactly. This is exactly what I want to understand. So the intention will make it zakatable or non-zakatable. Do you understand it now? The first one was your own land. You just want to buy a house, build a house. The second one, it's a land for buying and selling now. You want to sell it and buy and use the money for business. Khalas. If you want to sell it and you get the money and you buy a house, is it zakatable? Not zakatable because you're not doing business now. Do you understand what the business means? Buying and selling, this business. So let's have those three examples. We'll make it clear for you. Example 1. I bought a land to build a house. Is this land zakatable? The value of the land is £1 million. Is it zakatable? Alhamdulillah. I bought another land to buy and sell. I start business to buy and sell lands. So I bought a land for 100,000. Is it zakatable? Yes. Subhanallah. 1 million is not zakatable and 100,000 is zakatable. Why? Exactly the intention. The intention. The third one is I bought a land to buy a house, to build a house. After 6 months, my wife told me off, say, Wallahi, I'm not going to stay with you. So I said, Wallahi, I will sell this land. Is it zakatable? Why? Because my wife told me off?
Because I shall sell it.
Why is it zakatable? Intention of what? No. No. I said the intention of business, not the intention of selling and buying. You can sell and buy. You can buy this not for a business. You want to get some money and buy another laptop. The intention of business makes it zakatable. So the third example, I bought a land for building, then I change my mind to sell it, not for business. I want to keep the money to use it for something else. It's not zakatable. If you don't understand, it's not my problem. I think I explained to you as much as I can. Now, yes.
Question, so back to the example of inheritance, or someone gives you money. So they give you, let's say, £50,000.
Okay.
So your intention is not to, so they give you that, you don't give me.
You give you gift 50,000?
Yeah, you give me
Okay.
50,000.
Yeah.
One day.
Inshallah, why not? Yeah.
So my intention is I'm going to hold on to that money.
Yeah.
So after a year, is that zakatable?
Yeah. If you keep it for 1 year,
Yeah.
if it's money or gold or silver, they are zakatable itself.
Okay, this has got nothing to do with business here.
Exactly, because we mentioned that gold and silver and money are zakatable. Business is zakatable, whether it's money or even goods. Let's say you have 10 cars. 10 cars. You have 10 cars. You have one, your wife have one, you have 8 kids, they have one. Are they zakatable?
No.
Why? Personal, exactly. I have 10 cars for sale. Are they zakatable? Why? That's it. So this is the difference. Business is zakatable. Whatever you sell. You sell cows, cars, houses, land, sands, anything. As long as it's business purposes, it's zakatable. Why is zakatable? Because the money, the value is zakatable, not the product itself. Because it has money on it, has value. And if we stop zakah in this, there will be no zakah. And this is actually the money must be zakatable. Why? Because this is the money where people can make profit. Yes?
Well, like for the example of a car, right? The value depreciates over time.
Huh?
The car, the value depreciates over time.
Yeah.
For 1 year period.
Yeah.
So do you pay zakah on the value on the day you give zakah? Like?
Exactly. Yeah, on the day of you give zakah, not on the day you bought the car. So on the day of you give zakah, you see the value of that specific product. It's a house or a car or a land, and you give zakah accordingly.
So in terms of like an investment point of view, let's say you bought some shares, right? They increase.
I'm just about to talk about the zakat of share. Now, just waiting Adam to answer. Adam, and come to wait, inshallah. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you.
It's half an hour, so I will open the door for questions, okay? 40 minutes we finish? Huh?
Car blocking.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, there's the car blocking other cars in the car park. It's a Toyota Auris, blue registration CE09FFT. That's your car, please move it.
Yes, Adam.
How would two brothers, for instance, that do business together
Yeah.
pay zakah?
Two brothers doing business together. So the pay zakah on the business itself. If they have shares, let's say 40 and 60, everybody should pay zakah according to his percentage. But they can pay zakah for the whole business, and that will cover both of them.
So they could just do it for the whole business and that's it.
That's it, khalas. That less headache for everybody. But if someone say, no, I want to give my zakah separate, that's fine. It's up to him. Okay.
You're not paying zakah on the value of the car, which depreciates after a year.
Yeah.
The value, would it be the value that I would sell it to another trader or the value to a customer?
No, there's the value in the market, because the value that you want to sell it with is the price that you're giving. You could be dreaming. I mean, you own something and you might say, I want to sell it for 10,000. In the market, its price is only 8,000, but you are going to wait until you get someone pay you for this. So the value is the value in the market. And the value, if you are retailer, look at the retailer value. If you are wholesaler, look at the wholesaler value. So it's like this. It won't be black and white anyway. It will be something estimation. But this is how is it. You look at the market price.
If the market value was 5,000 to other customers, but I know if another garage bought it off me and buy it for 4,000, then would I?
Why he bought it for 4,000? Why?
Because he's a trader. So traders normally they sell a bit cheaper.
Oh, okay.
So would I base it on the trade price, 4,000, or would I base it on the customer price of 5,000?
You are you a retailer or wholesaler? You.
A retailer.
You are a retailer. So when the retailer sells this, what they do usually? They sell it in 4,000 or 5,000?
I mean, to the customer. I mean, not in the car trade.
Yeah, I understand you. I'm just.
To the customer, it would be 5,000.
Yeah.
But if I was going to sell it to another garage, I would sell it for 4,000.
So now you're talking about two different type of customers. One is the traders and one is the retailers. Yeah, so in my opinion, because you are a retailer, not a wholesaler, you look at the retail price, the price that individuals buy, not the wholesaler. Because the trader now, trader giving a buying for a lower price because he's is a wholesaler. So yeah, look at the market value, and this is one of the opinions. Okay, some scholars say look at the price that you bought it with, but this is inshallah the correct opinion. The correct is look at the market value. Because we are paying zakah for the value of that specific product, and the value is the market value. Shares, two types of shares. One shares, you buy it for purpose of buy and sale. They call it mudaraba. So you buy it now, wait, and the price goes up, you sell. This one is zakatable. At the end of the year, let's say you bought 10,000 pound shares. You see how much the value of your shares in the market, and you give zakah. The other shares, you buy shares in a factory or in a company or something, you want to keep it, you just want to get revenue out of it. There is no zakat on this one. Its revenue is zakatable. Its revenue is zakatable. If you keep it for the whole year and it is above the threshold level.
What if the company gives you dividends? You know when they make profit?
It has to be included in the zakah. If you keep it until the end of the year. Let's say you have 10,000, okay? No, sorry, dividends, because are you looking for a revenue or dividends because you sold your...
They make profit, right? They give, certain companies give a percentage of that profit to shareholders.
as a revenue, not because they sell your shares. You have to differentiate.
It's more of profit than revenue, because only if the vendor makes...
How they give you... do you still own the shares?
Yes.
Khalas, that's revenue. This money... You check if it's above the threshold, then you give zakah on it. Forget about the value of the share. And this is we talk about the share in the factories and places that not zakatable, and we talk about the shares in companies that not haram. If someone has shares in a factory that does manufacture alcohol, is it zakatable? Because it's haram money. He has to repent and give it, take his money back. Yes, Akhi.
Okay, you said that if I got warata money, so not using no zakah.
Inheritance?
Yeah.
No, it will be zakatable if you keep it for 1 year. Yeah, for 1 year and it's above the threshold, the nisab. Now, let's say you have gold less than 85 and you have money, notes, 10,000 pounds. Do you pay zakah? Why? The total, huh? So basically you mix now between the gold and the money. What about business? You have a business that value of business is 5,000 pounds and you have 20 grams. Do you pay zakah for both? Agreed upon, both. You have to gather both them. But if you have silver, which is, let's say 150 grams, is it zakatable? We said 595 grams zakatable. So 150 is not zakatable. And you have 15, you have about, let's say, 80 grams of gold. Is it zakatable? Do you combine them? Majority say yes. Although there is no clear proof, but majority say yes. So if you have, make sure you combine all the money, the gold, silver, business, notes together and give 2.5. If you, Hassan, you have 2,000 pounds and your wife has 70 grams of gold, is it? Do you pay zakah on this? Why? Her money is her money, and your money is exactly. Ownership is different now, huh? Okay. Now, if you have 85 grams of gold, but the kirat is 21, is it zakatable? 21 karat or 18. Is zakatable? 85 grams. No, it's not zakatable because the 21 is mixed, is not pure gold. When we talk about 85, we talk about 24 carats. Now, if you have 21, what do? You multiply the grams in 21 divided by 24, you will have the amount of grams that you have to pay zakah on it. Okay. Now, when you have a business, yes?
The gold, if you have 85 grams of gold, so the market value will be, for example, £50 a gram, or whatever it sounds. If you try to sell that gold is sold to you, is sold scrap value. So, do you pay the value of the scrap value, or do you pay the value at the market?
Is the gold a business, or for you keep it this gold for yourself?
Jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry for wife?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have jewelry for wife and you want to give zakah for it. Let's say above 85. Above 85 you have to get 2.5% of that gold. The value of that gold, you're supposed to give it a gold itself, but because usually they don't people give gold, they give money. So look at the value in the market of this gold. It's that specific gold you have. How much it costs, the value of the gold, that specific gold in the market, and you give zakah accordingly.
If it's jewelry, do you still pay for jewelry?
We said that majority say no, and to be in safe side, yes, you do. So he wants to be in safe side.
What if you invest in gold, like bullion?
Khalas, then if you invest in gold, then you look at the gold as a business, and you look at the value of the gold in the market. Forget about now the 80 gram, etc. Look at the value of the gold in the market. If you reach the threshold of zakah and nisab, then you have to give zakah.
Just another question. If somebody lent out £10,000, for example, and he hasn't received the money back, and it's been a whole year, but he doesn't have any cash to pay the zakah on this money that he's lent out,
Yeah.
then what should he do?
Wait until he get the cash. He said he doesn't have.
No.
Khalas, if he doesn't have, he wait until he
So
get it.
with
It becomes a debt on him. Dain.
Is that the same with business assets? If he's got business assets,
Yeah.
and it's been a whole year and he hasn't got the cash to pay the zakah,
But when you business assets, it depends. If it's zakatable, yes, the same.
zakatable.
Yeah, if zakatable, yes. If you don't have cash,
He has the money.
yeah, exactly. You wait until you get the money and you pay. Now, okay, during the year, if you get money, as the brother mentioned, if you inherit something during the year or you receive something, do you have to pay zakah? Now we have different situations. Number one, you receive money that is zakatable and above the threshold. Let's say, as we said, you inherit £10,000. So from that time you start counting, and next year, that day you have to give the zakah. It's clear. The second one, you have a business, or you have animals like sheep, and you have more than 50 sheep, because above 50 sheep is zakatable. And during the year you have more babies in that sheep, or you have income from that business. This income or these new babies will be counted in the zakah, because it came from that specific zakatable item. So it will be counted. It doesn't matter, even less than 1 month, not 1 year. So let's say you have a business, £50,000. You keep trying to make some profit. You couldn't make it. In month, after 11 months, you make a profit 20,000. Zakah is 70,000, not 50,000, because it came from that money, from the item, the zakatable item. It will be counted. The fourth one, you have gold or silver or business, but you get a zakatable item that is different. For example, you are gifted 6 camels or 5 camels. 5 camels are zakatable items, but they are different from the money. So you don't combine them. That it's different type of threshold, different type of hawl. This one will carry on the same time we pay zakah, and this one you start from the time you get them. The last one, which is confusing, and there are different opinion about it, is you have a goal or you have a business. Okay, you have a business that is zakatable. You have Adam 50,000, but business of 55,000 pounds. Then I come to you Adam, I say this 10,000 is a gift for you. What do you do with this 10,000? Do you add it to that money or you start a new year for this one. Now there is different opinion now. Majority say you have to start a new year because it has nothing to do with this money. Some scholars say no, whatever you get during the year, you just add it. Add it, and where this point come? In the salary. And this makes the life easy. Now, let's say your salary, how much we said the threshold? 4,000 pounds? Let's say someone has his salary is 6,000 pounds. How does he make his zakah? How does he give his zakah? Yes.
Okay, this is the 6,000. If the money if remain to 1 year complete, then pay zakah. Unless if you use it, not pay zakah.
No, but okay, now how does he count? Now let's say tomorrow you receive your first 6,000 pounds, and next month 60,000 pounds. Now let's say you used to only 2,000 and keeping the rest. Do you pay the zakah for the 4,000 pounds that he kept from the first month with the second salary you get, or you separate them? Because now they have no connection. This is money separate from this. It's not a business that making a revenue. Yes?
You have to do it every month to be precise.
If you want to be according to the majority, exactly. They have to do it. But this is very difficult, isn't it? It's better to go for Hanafi madhab, which is say just one day at the end of the year, just see how much you have and pay your zakah. Less headache.
So most people, we have to pay tax on the income. So do you pay the zakah on the net income? The
When do you pay the tax? Before the day with your zakah or after?
But when most people get their salary, the tax is already taken out. So
Khalas, if taken out, it's not your money. It's finished.
you
Yeah.
pay on what you get.
Whatever is taken out before the day of your zakah, it's not your money. Stolen, taken as a tax, you gift it to someone, you spend it, it doesn't matter.
So that, if you do it at the end of the year, that money that you have, based on that salary example, you haven't had that money because you're coming in at every month.
Yeah?
So some of that money is going to be like 6 months or
Exactly, yeah.
So then what do you base it on? Do you base it on what you have at the time?
No, it's based on what the scholar said. Yeah, on that day, specific day. Why? Because the scholar said it's permissible to give the zakah in advance. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ did with Abbas. He gave zakah of 2 years in advance. You can do this, especially if there is a calamity, there is a problem that we need money. So you can give it in advance. In your situation, according to the majority, you are the last salary, actually you're giving it after 1 month. So you are giving it in advance, which is fine. And it's less headache. If you want to count every month, you can do so, but it's difficult. It's difficult to do. Now, what about pension? I'm going to finish khalas. What about pension? All of you have pension, huh? You don't pay zakah? No pension? No pension, no zakah. What about pension? Now I taught you the conditions of zakah. Try to use your mind to try to understand. Is it zakatable or not? Yeah, yes.
We pay when we receive it because we don't own it.
Because you what?
We don't own it.
Okay. Now you're talking about specific pension. Not all the pension, you cannot own it. It's what you said is exactly correct according to that specific type of pension. Most of the pensions the government takes from your account, from your salary, or you give, but you cannot have it. You cannot have it until a specific year they give it to you. So as exactly he mentioned, this is not zakatable. Why is not zakatable? No, not guarantee. No ownership. Exactly. Your ownership is not stable now. When we say it's not stable, you don't have access to this money. You don't have, as if you lost the money. As I said, you hide the money, you forget about the place. It's your money, but you cannot have it. So your full ownership is not full. In Arabic they call غير مستقر. So it's not zakatable in this situation. But if some companies, I don't know if in the UK there is something like this or not, but another places there are. They take your pension and they put it in a pool or an account and they invest it for you and you have access. This one is zakatable. Because you have its investment and you have access. It's every year to have to give zakah. The first one, when you receive your pension, do you have to give zakah for the whole previous years? Or do you start counting,
1 year, 2 years.
or you give only 1 year? Do you understand this? You are 65, 67, they give you 50,000 pounds. Do you pay zakah for the whole previous years, or you start counting from that day, or you pay for 1 year? To be in safe side, just pay for 1 year. 1 year. Just for 1 year to be in safe side. Otherwise, there is no proof. You can even wait until next year and then you pay zakah. So what about when you receive this money and you have a business? You have a business, 50,000, and you receive your pension, let's say 60,000. The business zakah is after 6 months. Do you pay the pension with the zakah, with the business, or you wait for the whole year? Huh? What did you say, sorry? You own separate. So 1 in 6 months, 1 year. Together or not?
Together. As a salary, as you get a salary.
So we have 2 opinions. One say together, one say separate. Did we talk about this point or we didn't?
We talk as in the salary, as a salary.
Yeah, exactly. So when we said when we get money during the year that is not came out of that business, do you add it or not? Majority say don't add it. So you want to keep it until next year and you pay zakah for it. If you want to be in safe side and less headache, just add it to your amount, the money, and that's it. You don't know, and you pay together in one time, which is less headache for everybody. Now the money that is in the government account, your pension, is it zakatable? Does the government has to give zakah on it? You become faqih. Khalas, alhamdulillah. It's true, yes. No zakah. Because the money with the government, said there is no ownership. So khalas, jazakumullah khair. Yes, you have any question, ask. Sorry? He has to give it. That's it. So if he didn't pay, he has to pay. Even 10 years, he has to pay to give it out. This is the only expiation. And make tawbah. And we punish him as well. Islamically, yeah, we punish him.
Just a couple of questions that come through. Firstly is about the zakah on the gold again. So if you wear it, just from some clarification, if the lady uses it even once every 6 months,
yeah,
she doesn't have to pay on it.
Yeah.
And what if she uses it very rarely, or she has saved it for her daughter when her daughter gets married?
No, if she's in the gold, the used gold is the gold that we keep it for usage purpose. Either we use it monthly or yearly, it doesn't matter. But if we have the intention to save it for our children, now this is different. It's not for usage now. It's for saving. Now this one is zakatable. So subhanAllah, the issue is based on the intention. Intention is controlling the money, zakatable or not. You keep the money for your children, it's not for usage now. It's for your children. So it's a kanz, that money you say, it's a saving, which is zakatable.
Just another question.
Yes, we'll finish the question from the sisters, then we go to you.
Do you only pay zakah on a business if you're profitable?
No. If the value of the business above the threshold, the nisab, it's zakatable, whether you make profit or you make loss. As this is above. So let's say your business value is 10,000, you work, then after 1 year you lost 1,000, it become 9,000, it's zakatable.
And if you can't afford, you just wait until you can afford.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Finish? Yes, Akhi.
With the example that you gave about buying a house, if you have the intention of keeping it to sell, you pay the account on that. But if you have an intention of making a house on it, like a piece of land, if you have the intention of making a house on it, you don't pay the account on that. What if you have like a conditional intention? For example, if after 6 months it doesn't reach this value, I won't sell it and I'll keep it. But if it does reach that value, I will sell it.
But you bought it with the intention of buying and selling? Business intention or?
You buy it with the intention that if it gets to a certain point, you will sell it.
Yeah.
If you don't.
So this is business purpose. Okay? So when you buy that land, what is your intention? Is your intention to make out money out of it, so to resell it and buy again? This is business. You want to keep it, this is not business. Yes, sir.
Buys that house for 300,000 and 200,000 is by mortgage and 100,000 pounds is put into it. Does he have to pay the zakah on that business for the 300,000 value, even though it was lended by the bank?
Well, you're supposed to answer this. Did you hear this question? I need faqih to answer this. He said you bought a land for 300,000. 200,000 is a loan. Forget about mortgage. It's a loan. 100,000 is your money. And this land you bought it for business purposes. After 1 year, how much you pay zakah? You pay on the 300 or just the 100? Like this? Subhanallah. No, we didn't say this. What did we say? Huh? What did we say about the debtor dain? How does he give his zakah on his dain?
He pays it.
Huh?
The one who lends the money.
No, the one who now he is not the lender. Now he's the debtor. The one who took. Now you took the loan.
Yes.
So when you take a loan, do you pay zakah on it?
He has a property.
Exactly. Alhamdulillah, I've got faqih here. So if you take a loan, and after 1 year, this loan, you don't have any, you don't own anything that can cover this loan, you take it out from your zakah. You just pay for the 100. But if you have a second house, a second car that can, it's value 200, then you have to pay zakah for it. Yes, Akhi.
So in the case the brother took 100,000 from me, would I be paying zakah as well, and he's going to be paying zakah?
Exactly. You have to pay, there is no doubt, if this man is ready and willing to pay you back. But if he can't, then you don't pay zakah. Because it's your money, and you can take it anytime. Okay? But for him, as we said, he doesn't have to pay the zakah except if he has enough ownership of something that can cover this loan.
But the money is for business.
It doesn't matter, as long as it's a loan. It's a loan, he has to pay back for business, for any reason. He has to take it out from his zakat, unless if he has something to cover this.
Is the underlying principle personal usage of an item? So anything is like a house.
Exactly. This is one of the conditions. If it's something for purpose usage, there's no zakah for it. Except for some scholars, they used gold and silver. Why? We said majority did not make an exception. They say the same. Even gold and silver, if it's for your own use, there is no zakah on it. But those scholars, they made exception in gold and silver. They say because the gold and silver are zakatable themselves. The items themselves are zakatable. So even if for usage, you have to give. But as we said, majority say there is no zakah on them. Yes?
So if you've got property for business, or even gold in the case of sister, you don't have money to pay zakah. What is the case?
Say again, sorry.
You've got gold, or a sister, or wife.
Yeah.
You replace gold with property even with
You have a gold,
or property asset.
okay?
You don't have money to pay zakah
Yeah, property as a business.
as a business.
Okay, you don't have cash to pay. You write it down, and as soon as you get cash, you have to pay it. It becomes compulsory upon you to give that specific amount, and you have to write it in your wasiyah. If you die, they make sure they give it before distributing anything, because it's debt between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You owe Allah that specific amount. Actually, you owe the poor people through Allah's commands this amount of money, and you have to give it out. Yes, Akhi. Anyone wants to go is free, inshallah, to go. Huh? I would want to keep you well.
If I buy a land with the intention to do business, but then I change my mind and I say, no, I just want to keep it to my family.
Khalas, is not zakatable. If you change your mind from business to ownership, khalas, for usage, it's not zakatable.
But this land, like I bought this land, but I'm not using this land.
That's by not for, you are not putting it for sale. You want to keep it for your son, you keep it in future, you might need to sell it and use the money.
Anyway, this has a value, right?
Yeah, of course.
Value. So
Yeah.
I should pay zakat on this.
No, not every value you have to pay zakat for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, and the Prophet mentioned, only specific items, gold, silver, animals, things like that. That's it. Not everything can be zakatable, except if you have any item in a business, because the business is zakatable. So in your case, as you said, if you have a land, you bought a land, it's not zakatable. Even has value. Diamond is more expensive than gold, but it's not zakatable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do this, so this is what we do. Yeah.
I saw the South for gold is about 6,100.
6,000, huh?
Silver is about 480 pounds.
400. Look at the difference. Before, both are stable, but subhanAllah, the gold is still okay, but the silver went down. So now, how much the silver? 400, huh? So if you have 600 pounds, according to the silver, it's zakatable. According to the gold, there's no zakatable. Do you pay zakah? If you follow the opinion that we look at the, we use the gold as a measurement for the threshold of the money, there is no zakah. But if you look at the opinion that where the scholars say, look at what is better for the poor people, then it's zakatable. You go to the lower one, which is the silver. Yes.
Okay, the punishment who not pay zakat, is he in the camel?
Many punishments. Yeah, this is one of them. If he has cows, and they will go on him, and there will be a snake running after him. A'udhu billah, it's a big issue of not paying zakah.
Yeah, just another one from the sister.
Yes, akhi.
It's the same topic on the gold. So one's asking, you've been given gold on your wedding day and you've got no intention of ever wearing it, but you're also not saving it for anything specific. It's just sitting there, so would there be zakah on it?
She is confused. How can I answer her? She doesn't know that whether she's wearing it, she's keeping it.
No intention to wear it. It will just be left there, and there's no intention to give it to the kids. It's just sentimental value.
Okay, now, if she doesn't have intention to wear it, and she's just keeping it, it's better to give zakah. Okay. Why? Because now it looks as a saving. If she doesn't have, she's sure that she doesn't want to wear, especially if, for example, there are some issues, signs around this. For example, if the gold is for baby, for example, then definitely she's not going to wear it. She's saving it. But if it's something gold that it's something very expensive and only can be, she can wear it in a very special events, and she's just keeping for that purpose because it doesn't happen, then no, I don't know, you have this back home, there are some type of golds, they wear it only specifically in that specific day. The big gold like this. Before, not now. The old mothers, Allah yarhamhum, yaghfir lahum, that specific gold, they think on the 7th day in the wedding, they just wear it in that day. So, when you keep something like this, you have the intention to wear it, but in that specific day. But if she 100% sure she doesn't want to wear it, it's better to give zakah. Yes, akhi. Then I come to you, inshallah.
On your point on pensions, right, there's like a fund in certain countries where you can invest for like your child. So up until they get to the 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
Invest and
Is it accessible?
not until when they're 18.
Khalas, it's not zakatable until you take it.
So
If it's not accessible, you don't have full ownership.
so you only pay
When you get it, pay for 1 year.
any fund of that sort.
Any fund that is not accessible,
Yeah.
when you receive it, just pay 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah. Yes, akhi. You forgot the question. You raised your hand. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, wahi came and sorted out.
The question was, so let's say after 6 months,
Yeah.
you drop below the nisab, 85 grams of gold.
Yeah.
Let's say from
Is it business or personal? Yeah, okay. Savings. Okay.
6,000 drops to 5,000. Does the clock for 1 year start from that point again?
Some scholars say if it's not the business, it doesn't matter. Just look at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. That's it. But when it's savings, some scholars say the same. Look at the beginning and the end. Some of them say no. If you go down the threshold, you count again when you go up to the nisab. Let's say, for example, you have 10,000 pounds. Okay. So you needed some money. This is your savings. You don't have anything. You don't have business. You have done nothing. So you use this money and you only have 200 pounds left. Khalas, there is no zakah. When you get the money back again, then you start counting. Exactly. Start again. From the time you get the threshold, you start count for a new year. Yeah. Yes, akhi. Yeah. You pay zakah on the revenue and the income if you keep it for the whole year. Yes.
What about the people that are renting your land? They obviously have to pay.
They have to give you your rent. Not zakah. Khalas. You've already taken the money from them. You still want them to pay zakah?
So, gold that women wear, is it the majority say they don't need to pay?
Yeah, majority. And it's strong opinion. Why? Because they say zakah in a growing money that can grow. So you give zakah from it. Even logically, it makes sense. You're making profit and you're working on this money, so you give zakah. But money, like anything that for your own usage, is not zakatable. The Prophet ﷺ, ليس على المسلم في فرسه ولا عبده zakah. There is no zakah on the horse of the believer for his own usage. Which means that the hikmah or the wisdom that, because it's for your own usage, is not zakatable. It's not something that you're making money out of it. So they say the gold here in this case is same. So your wife is using it for zina, for just to for her own use purposes. So there is no point to say there is zakah on this, which is strong opinion. Because of some hadith, that's why scholars differ. And these hadith are not agreed upon. Some of them authentic, but the understanding is different. Some of them are weak. That's why.
What if she wears the gold, but then sells it at some point, but the gold has increased in value because it's like...
It doesn't matter. As long as she was using it for herself, even the price go up, it doesn't matter.
So when she sells that gold, then she would have to pay zakah.
That money is savings now. So if the money stays with her for 1 year and it's above the threshold, it's hard to pay zakah. Yeah. Yes?
Say a question. Someone who buys and sells online, buys and sells online, but not as a regular business, but she has the stock at home, and if she doesn't sell it, she'll use it. So, but she's saying, is this considered a business?
Yeah. As long as it's still for sale, it's business. As soon as she use it, خلاص, it moves out from business to personal.
Is there a nisab for the business assets?
The amount of gold or silver, which is lower, exactly the same. So if the clothes she has, let's say the brother said now today is silver 400 something, and if this is the threshold, if the clothes that she has is above 400 something, is zakatable. But if she changed her mind before the end of the year and she used the clothes, خلاص, it's not zakatable. وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. بارك الله فيكم. جزاكم الله خير.
جزاكم الله خيرا شيخ أبو يحيى.
بارك الله.